Hi Stampers, I'm Nancy and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, it's Throwback Thursday here in my craft room. So what that means is I am creating a card with an old stamp set. It's called Field of Flowers. I don't know what year it's from. And I'm also using the Hearts Collection framelits. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll get started. So Field of Flowers, I've always loved this stamp. And I just wanted to share another card with you. I'm right in the middle of making a bunch of autumn flower cards, and I've just pulled out a bunch of my stamps, and I've been creating cards all week and putting the videos on here on my YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and click the little notification button. That way you'll know whenever I'm making a new video. And so Field of Flowers and the Hearts Collection. And I'm using this heart right there. So let me show you everything that we need to make this. I'm using a piece of cardstock for my base that's called Soft Succulent, and it's 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. And then I'm using Whisper White, and I have two matte pieces that are 5 1/4 by 4, one for the inside and one for the front. Then I have two stamping pieces that are 5 by 3 3/4, one for the inside and one for the front. I also have a scrap. Well, it's not really a scrap. It's 5 by 3 3/4, so it's the same size as my stamping piece. And I went ahead and I've already cut out a heart, and I'm going to use that as my little template. So all I'm going to do is put these two pieces together. They're both the same size. They're 5 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to take a piece of washi tape and just kind of attach it. And that's just a temporary piece of tape there just to hold these two pieces together. And then I am going to start stamping. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp some of the stems across the bottom of my heart, and I'm going to use Soft Succulent. So I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to stamp, and I'm not going to stamp all the way to the bottom of my heart. And I'm just holding it in place there. Make sure that ink touches everywhere. And I'm going to stamp one more just a little bit above that. And I actually think I'm going to stamp off and just make it a faint stamping of those stems. That'll make them look like they're kind of farther back. And that's exactly what I want. So now I'm going to stamp some flowers, and since this is a fall card, I'm going to be using the pumpkin pie and the Cajun craze. So whatever orange and rust color stamps that you have are going to work just fine. And I'm going to bring in the little Melody of Flowers. That's the stamp in this stamp set that they're all connected, and it's this one right there. Okay, so I'm going to do that in pumpkin pie. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay it right here in the middle of my stems, my flower stems. And I'm not worried that they're going to match up with anything. They're just going to look like they're on those stems, but they're just going to, I'm not really worried about matching anything up. This card's going to be kind of a wildflower type scene, and this works just fine what I'm doing. You're going to love it. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in another stamp that's in this set, which is this flower stamp. And I'm going to use the Cajun craze for this. And I'm going to stamp a few of those flowers here and there. And it just looks like a bunch of wild flowers. Okay, then what am I going to do next? Now I'm going to do a little bit of sponging. So I'm going to bring back in the Soft Succulent, and I am actually going to use a makeup sponge, and I got this from the dollar store. It's a little wedge, and it works just fine for what I'm going to be doing. So if you don't have the Stampin' Up! Little blending sponges, this is something that you can do. All right, so I just want to make sure that it's not full, so I'm stamping off, and I'm going to start swirling it around this heart template, so that heart will show up when we take the template away, and you'll be able to see the outline of this heart. So no, it doesn't look like much right now, and I went ahead and I kept it darker at the bottom than I did up at the top, so I didn't really brush it off too much for the bottom. But I'm just going to swirl around here now. Make sure you have all the edges of the heart with a little bit of color. And now I'm going into the flowers, and that's picking up a little bit of that ink, and it's bringing it up into the sky a little bit, and it kind of looks really cool. So I'm just going to give it one more little swirl here. And we're going to take this template off. And there you go. So I'm going to bring in that little dragonfly right there. And I think I'm going to stamp him in bumblebee color. You could do a black dragonfly if you wanted, or whatever color you might like. So let's see how this guy shows up. Very cool. Could look like kind of a stormy day. So depending on how much color you put in the swirls, and you could actually use balmy blue, but I wanted to use the soft succulent because I think it looks really, really pretty. I'm not done yet though with the soft succulent card base. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the sentiment always, and this has many sentiments that you can use. Thinking of you, always a celebration, and I'm going to use in my heart. That will go with our pretty little template here. So I'm going to stamp this in Memento. Just give that a good inking. And I'm going to stamp it here on the bottom. And it's going to kind of touch the heart. And there you go. And then the rest of the sentiment in my heart, I'm going to stamp right below the little dots. Okay, so now I'm just going to glue this together and show you what it looks like. It's very, very pretty. So again, I have a white on white, which I like the way that looks. I think it just gives your card a little bit more, I don't know, it's just kind of pretty. It's just elegant that way. But you don't have to do that. It's your card. You can just lay this right on your card base, and it looks pretty. But I am going to layer it up. Now I can attach that to the front. And there you go. Pretty, pretty, pretty. So for the inside, I think I'm just going to stamp Thinking of You. And I didn't even have that ready, but I think that's what I am going to stamp. So I'll bring in my inside pieces. Again, I have a matte piece and the stamping piece. Just looking for my ink. So Thinking of You. And let's bring in the pumpkin pie again, and we'll just stamp a couple of flowers here. Pretty, love it. So I'm just whatever wherever you think it would look nice. And I think that's pretty, very pretty. And we'll just glue all this together on the inside of our card, and it'll be done. So again, if you have this stamp set, pull it out of your stash, and I hope you make this card. I'm sure whoever gets this card will just love it. It's so nice to get a card in the mail instead of a bill or a flyer. Right? So go ahead and leave any comments, type any questions, say hi, and there you go. I just love it. It's very, very elegant. I hope you like it too. Don't be shy, stamp and shout.